don't confine yourself to the borders of Korea. There is so much going on. There is so much you can contribute. Nothing to fear. Take on the challenges.
Hello, Korea's followers. I'm Lee Ha-sung. This year is a very significant year since it marks the 70th anniversary of the RK-US alliance, which started with the signing of the Mutual Defense Treaty in 1953. That's why we invited a guest who is a historical bridge between Korea and the US. Who will it be? Let's find out. Dr. Litton, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
It's a great honor to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is John Linton. I grew up in Jeollado. My great-grandfather came as a missionary in 1895. We've lived here for 4 generations, mostly in the southwestern part of Korea.
Stories about your family is so famous here already. So starting with your great-grandfather, he built a hospital and a school in Korea back in 1895. How did your great-grandfather come to Joseon?
He came to Korea in 1895 as a Southern Presbyterian missionary, and it was at the end of the Lee Dynasty. Our family has lived there almost 130 years.
Could you also tell us about your father?
My father, before he was a missionary, was a naval officer, and he fought against the Japanese after Yu-Gi-Oh, after the Korean War started, and he fought in the Battle of Wonsan Chuntu, or the Wonsan Battle, and then he came in after MacArthur into Incheon and ran Incheon port after the Incheon, amphibious assault with MacArthur. And then after the Korean War, he was assigned as a missionary to Suncheon. My mother's younger brother fought in the Changjino Juntu. So we've been with Korea in good times, in bad times, in peace and in war. Korea's home.
And I also heard that your mother has also connection with Korea.
In 1956, my older 3 brothers contracted tuberculosis. They went to Korean school, elementary school. Mm-hmm. And although my mother's not a doctor or nurse, she took on tuberculosis as a mission project in the early 1960s. She ran 2 rest homes and a clinic in conjunction with Gwangju Christian Hospital, where the doctors came from. And so our whole life we were very close to tuberculosis patients.
So did she affect your choice to become a doctor just like her?
I would say yes, because we had lots of very sick TB patients we lived among when I was young, and the idea of taking care of sick people was very, shall we say, natural. Mm-hmm. But it was actually one event. My father's close friend came and saw me taking care of an animal that was been bitten by a dog and a goat that had been bitten. And he made the comment in Korean to me, 동물보다 사람이 더 불쌍하잖아? Isn't a human being in more need than an animal? And that had a lasting effect in my mind.
So you stayed in the US for 4 years for university?
See, I graduated from Yonsei University Medical School. And then I did residency in New York from 1987 to 1991. And then I came back and I've been running the International Healthcare Center at Yonsei Severance Hospital for over 30 years. Making the Korean system fit Western standards has been challenging but very rewarding. Biggest challenge of my whole life was passing the Korean medical board, which had Chinese characters for special nouns. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a long time ago. Now they don't have Chinese characters, but back then they did. Yeah.
Was it because you felt at home in Korea that you returned to Korea?
Very much so. This is home. And I really didn't feel 100% Korean until 2012 when I obtained dual citizenship. I was the first legal dual citizenship holder, what they call 특별, special, 귀하. And on March 21st, 2012. And that was a very special day because now I'm Korean.
Yeah, you are.
Don't I look like a Korean?
You do look like. So, was there any difference between before and after naturalization?
Well, although our family's had been here over 100 years, it was hard to explain why you still have American citizenship. And people are always asking, are you going back after are you retiring in the United States? And I would never think of that now. 여기서 뼈를 묻어야죠. My bones will be buried here.
Yeah, I could feel that your love for your hometown is extraordinary.
Suncheon is very special. It was like the Garden of Eden. We grew up in Chalado. We were very poor, but we were very happy. And the village was like a community. I mean, everybody knew everybody. People were poor, but they shared everything. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of love in the Korean word chung. There was an enormous amount of chung. 고운정, 미운정. I don't know how to explain that in English. But
There's no words in English.
we grew up in a very warm, loving environment. I'm very happy that Korea has developed, but I think we've lost some of that personal, shall we say, closeness. The word, my neighbor is my cousin, 이웃사촌. We don't have that anymore in Korea, which is sad, unfortunate. But I encourage foreigners to go to the country because country people still have that.
The RK-US alliance, it has been like 70 years since then. Our alliance is evolving into a more global strategic alliance, and President Yoon also emphasized on that aspect. So what is your opinion on that?
The alliance started, I believe, we calculate 1953, but actually in 1950, when Truman committed troops to South Korea to defend South Korea, the alliance, I view it as 1950, the beginning. So we're looking at 73 years, actually. The alliance was very important then. We protected Korea from communism. And because of threat of nuclear weapons and missiles and all of this going on and the uncertainties and instabilities in Asia, I think the alliance now is maybe more important than ever. The important thing is not just the U.S.-Korean alliance. Korea is very unique because Korea is a country that was a receiver of aid. And now Korea is giving out more than $1 billion.
Yeah, donor country.
Billions of dollars are being given by Korea to lesser developed countries. So it's a huge success.
Yes.
Not just Korean industrial power, but Hallyu, Korean sports. It's amazing. I joke and say that Koreans should be the evangelist, chandosa of good life throughout the world. I ran KOFI, Korea Foundation for International Health, and I traveled to many African countries, many Asian countries that are much poorer than we are. And everybody wants to be like Korea. We came up from the ashes of war. So you can make this argument to poorer countries. You can do it too. We did it. You can overcome. Pick yourselves up. You can do it. We did it. This is how we did it. Follow our model. And it's a powerful argument. And I've contemplated this. Koreans often talk about we were invaded hundreds, well, perhaps thousands of times in history. But the one important point is Korea never invaded anybody. Yes. Now this is a huge strength because there's no colonial baggage in Korea. Mm-hmm. And people are very open to Korea. I am so happy my great-grandparents came to Korea. This is my conclusion, that it's been a great pleasure to watch the transformation of Korea in the last 50 years.
You witnessed all that changes.
I've seen all of this. I watched it all, There's several things that caused it. Number one is that we had the leadership of Park Chung-hee. He also encouraged the farmers. He drank with the farmers rice wine, makgeolli, and said, we can live a better life. He encouraged Korea. And then we had the sacrifice of the Korean worker who worked so hard, in sweatshops, in Germany, the miners in Germany, the nurses in Germany, all the workers in the Middle East that worked in the hot temperature there, very unfavorable climate. So there was great sacrifice. And at the end of the day, Korea developed because of Korean mothers.
Korean mother.
Moms did it. It wasn't the men.
Female
It was
power.
it was the Ajumma power. Mom
Who
did it.
raised all the children.
They helped their husbands and their children they encouraged their husbands and they helped their children get a better education. The Korean woman is the center of development, the miracle of the Han.
So for the next 70 years of the RK and US relations, we all agree that diplomatic policies on the governmental levels are crucial, but what about the roles of our society and on the individual level?
LG building batteries. You've got Hyundai in Montgomery in Alabama building cars. You've got Samsung building, chip factory in the US. You've got lots of Korean industry actually leading the US, which is quite amazing. So it's a chance for us to look at, the fifth revolution or the 오차혁명, what's going to happen in the future. South Korea right now, because of the border with North Korea, is really an island. But at some point, we're going to be reconnected with the mainland of Asia in Russia. And think about the possibilities. I mean, the Korean brain, young people's brains are going to be needed all over this area, all over the world. So I would like very much to tell the young people of Korea that don't confine yourself to the borders of Korea. There is so much going on. There is so much you can contribute. There is an attitude of, you got to help me with this, 과소평가.
Undervalued.
Undervaluing oneself, bringing yourself lower than what you really are. I spent an extra year in medical school because I failed 1 year of medical school in Korea. Yeah. It took me 7 years to do a 6-year course. But when I took the in-service exam in New York, I beat the first, second, and third years. I was at the top of the residency.
Wow.
And I was not a very good student here, but there I was the top. We've got self-esteem is too low. We've got to hop over this. And now everybody speaks English.
Yes.
I mean, the younger generation, goodness, their English is very good. So what is there to fear? Nothing to fear. Take on the challenges. And this is my message also to Korean American kids. The U.S. is the immigration country. It belongs to whoever makes something of it. There should, why not have an Asian president in the U.S.?
Wow.
Why not? And you got to think big, dream big.
As you mentioned, your whole life is related to the Korea-US relations. Could you tell me about how do you feel about the Korea-US alliance in one sentence?
They use the military uses the word 같이 갑시다, let's go together.
같이 갑시다.
I think that's a mistake. 같이 갑니다, we go together. In one summary, I don't think it should be a question. It should be a statement.
So, time flew by talking to you. How was it today?
It's been a pleasure having this discussion with you. But the main thing is to the young people of the United States and the young people of Korea. You have so much to learn from each other. I mean, even in artistic ability. Look at BTS, bringing the house down in the U.S. I mean, it's an amazing, all the Hallyu. I hope that we give a much better country to our children and our grandchildren.
Thanks to you, we were able to view the history and meaning of RK-US Alliance. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank
It was
you.
so nice meeting you.